Several years ago, somebody sent me a ribbon burner, and I had intended to build a forge using that ribbon burner. I bought the blower, I bought a gas solenoid, a safety shutoff valve, pretty much everything I needed except the insulation and the time to build the forge. Now, to be perfectly honest, I never really got that enthused or excited about building the forge. Getting a gas forge just right requires a certain amount of expertise, trial and error, and I prefer to leave that job to people who actually know what they're doing. And I did intend to build one. I just realized I'm probably never going to get around to doing that, but I would still like to try out a ribbon burner forge. So when I started seeing some posts on Instagram and Facebook from blacksmiths who I admire and trust their judgment, all using the same ribbon burner forge, I decided to go ahead and reach out to Dark Star Forges and see if I could buy one. I'm going to a ribbon burner forge just to test out what a ribbon burner forge really does for me and see if it's something I really need in my shop. It's kind of an expensive experiment, but I've never talked to anybody that had a ribbon burner forge that ran well, that was disappointed with it. And there are a lot of claims about a ribbon burner forge that should make it a good option. For one thing, they're supposed to be more fuel efficient. That's going to be really hard for me to measure in this shop because I've got a 500-gallon propane tank out in the yard, and I only fill it about one time a year. So it's going to be really hard to get a good feel on whether this is saving gas or not. It just depends on what kind of work I'm doing. If I'm doing a lot of production work, I use more gas naturally, and I don't have a good day-to-day way to measure all that. So we're just going to have to see what that means. The other thing is they are supposedly quieter to work around. The old Chili forge was about 78 decibels. Once I get this up and running, we'll see exactly how loud this is. Hopefully it's a little bit quieter, if not a lot quieter. And the third claim that I have heard, and I'm really interested in finding out if it's true, is that there's not as much dragon's breath, meaning it's not so hot right here. Although with the anvil up here, that's not as big a deal as it was with the forge sitting over there. So it'll be real interesting to see how many of those things are true and how many of them are just popular sales points, so to speak. And don't take this as a negative review in any way of the Chili forge. I've been completely happy with it. I'd probably be happy with it for years to come. I just wanted to try out a ribbon burner and see if it's everything everybody says it is. And no, I am not being sponsored by Dark Star Forges. I paid full price for this. waited my turn in line to get it. But I will leave some contact information down in the video description if you're interested in contacting him to see what he can do for you. I am currently doing a simple leak check to make sure all the gas lines are solid and don't have any leaks in that. I turn on the main valve with the pressure about double what this should run at, and then turn it back off with all the valves on the forge closed. If the pressure doesn't drop in about an hour, there are no leaks in the system. If it drops in about a minute, there's some big leak in the system. So far, it's holding pretty well. Well, the pressure is held just fine, so let's go ahead and light this thing. This is a little bit more of a procedure than the old atmospheric style forge. You don't just open the choke, turn on the gas valve, light the thing, and pretty much just wait for it to get hot. This one's going to take a little bit more fiddling when you light it to get everything adjusted just right. And it is vitally important that you always start with the air so that you don't back gas up into the blower. So you have to turn the blower on first, then open the gas, let it warm up some, and make all the adjustments. Scott does have a video on YouTube that shows you what the lighting procedure is, and I'll link to that video right here. Well, I'm pretty impressed right out of the box. This seems to work really well. It definitely takes longer to heat up than the other forge, but this is lined with hard fire brick all the way around. It's got 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of K-wool on the outside of the fire brick, but that hard fire brick will be much more durable. It'll put up with the kind of use and abuse that I usually give a gas forge. So I'm willing to wait a little bit longer for it to heat up. I'm sure this will reach welding temperature, although today I didn't fiddle around with gas pressure, air intake, and how far to open the gate valve and all that kind of stuff. I just wanted to give it a good test. And like I say, so far I'm very impressed with it. Only time will tell if this is the best forge for me in this shop or if the atmospheric forge is. But because they're both on wheels, it's easy to swap one out and put the other one in. Not really a big deal. As I said, there is no way for me to evaluate fuel consumption with this. I'm running it at about the same PSI as I did the other forge, but pressure and volume are related, but they aren't the same thing. A 1/2 pound of pressure out of a 1-inch pipe would flow a lot more gas than 20 pounds of pressure out of a .03 orifice. So you can't really just compare gas pressure. And there's a needle valve on this for fine adjustment that's taking that down and not allowing as much gas into the chamber as you would have just opening the ball valve all the way. It'll be kind of a rough guesstimation on fuel economy, and it may take me a year or two to figure out what that is. Unless I notice a big difference, I'm probably not going to worry much about it. Now for the noise, it's virtually the same. I think this was at 79 decibels. And the other forge was running at about 78 decibels, so they're both just right at the threshold where you should probably wear hearing protection if you're going to be around this for a whole work day. And when I'm working by myself not doing videos, I do typically wear hearing protection, especially if I'm working around the power hammer or the press. Now there are two things that I'm really excited about with this forge. Number one is the flame front, or the dragon's breath that comes out of this, is nowhere near as bad as it was with the other forge. You had trouble getting this close to that other forge. This one I can get close enough to warm my hands up while it's running. So the dragon's breath issue is much, much better. And it didn't seem to put as much scale on these pieces as I'm used to seeing. So there's a better fuel and air mix, and it's not oxidizing as much in the forge chamber. And I really like that. That means my forgings are going to come out cleaner and need a little bit less wire brushing at the end. The downside to any kind of a blown forge, whether it's a ribbon burner forge or some other blown burner, is you have to have electricity. That's not a problem for me in this shop, although our power does go out for 12 or 24 hours at a time, a couple of times a year, and it is nice to be able to come up here and work without having to have anything connected to power. But it's not a major deal. Most of the time I've got power. And of course the induction forge needs power. And even the blower on the old coal forge had to be plugged in because it was an electric blower. So that's not a big deal. It's just a little disadvantage. And depending on your situation, you may prefer to have an atmospheric forge so you don't have to run an extension cord out into the yard or wherever it is you're working. Now, as far as how is this going to affect doing videos here on YouTube, because there's kind of a startup procedure and a fine-tuning process to go through as this thing heats up, it's not practical for me to turn it off like I used to the old one. The old one I would just reach up and turn the valves off before I took a piece out and came to the anvil, so you didn't have to listen to the roar of the forge while I was working on things, and that made it easier to narrate during the video. This, I think, has to stay on. It has to run the whole time you're using it. It's really going to be impractical to shut it off every heat, so I don't plan to do that. That means you'll hear this in the background on most of the videos, but I'll be able to narrate before we light the forge and after the forge is off. And then anything in between, I'll just have to do a voiceover after the fact, and I think that's going to work out fine. But you will hear a forge running in the background, which really is a more realistic look at the way I work. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to give special thanks to my channel members and my Patreon members. Their contributions really do help produce these videos, and quite frankly, they help me make upgrades to the shop. So I really appreciate that, and if you'd like to become a Patreon patron, there is a link down in the video description for Patreon, and there's a link just right below the video screen to join as a channel member. Anyways, hope you have time in your day to get out to your shop, make something, stay safe, wear your safety glasses. We'll see you for the next video.